Hi, everybody. So today I'm here to talk about my top movies from 2020. And I really struggled with this list. I actually filmed this video 3 times because it kept going back and forth, back and forth. And is something a movie? Is it not a movie? What's going on? I don't know. It's hard to decide because I have about 35 movies that I feel pretty close about the same on and I really enjoyed and I like for different reasons. Some of them make me cry, some of them make me laugh. Which ones are my favorite? I don't know. It's so hard to decide for me. But here we go. Here's my list. So at number 15, I have Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon. I thought this movie was so cute. I thought it was really funny and I just really enjoyed the animation. I thought it was really well done. Of course, Aardman is great at doing what they do, but even just the sequence where they order pizza was so funny. And yeah, I just thought it was delightful. That little alien was so cute. And so, yeah, it gets number 15. Number 14 is On the Rocks. This is Sofia Coppola's film, and I'm normally not the biggest fan of her movies. They can be a little dry for me and just not the greatest character development. But here, I really enjoyed it. I thought that Bill Murray's character was so charming, so funny. And the two of them, Rashida Jones and Bill Murray, to me, that father-daughter dynamic really rang true. And I really enjoyed it. And he's like a scoundrel, but you still like him anyway. And I thought that was really well done. But because I think it's Bill Murray or the script was so fun that I just found him very, very charming. And the dynamic, like I said, between father and daughter, really well done. I very much enjoyed it. Number 13, I have What She Said, The Art of Pauline Kael. This is a documentary about the film critic Pauline Kael. And it was very, very meaningful to me to watch this and just try to become more kind of confident in my opinions and my voice, because she was so strong in her voice and she wasn't afraid to have unpopular opinions. And I just admire her so much. The documentary, it's not like it's put together anything special, but I just think she's so cool and I really enjoyed watching it. So it had to be at 13. Number 12, I have The Truth. This is by Hirokazu Koreeda, who I love, and I think he's a master filmmaker, doesn't get enough credit as he deserves. His last film, Shoplifters, was on my top 10 that year. This year, The Truth is his first film to not be in Japanese, to be in French. Catherine Deneuve gives an Oscar-worthy performance in the lead, playing this movie star who has written this memoir, and her daughter, Juliette Binoche, comes and is like, this is not true, what you've written. And so it's a lot about memories and how we deal with each other's memories, and I just really enjoyed it. Ethan Hawke is great in it as Binoche's husband, and he is perfectly happy with kind of a more ordinary life. He doesn't need to be famous. He doesn't want to be famous like his mother-in-law, and she's making this movie about space that involves memories, and so there's that kind of involved. So there's a meta thing in there as well. It's just, I really enjoyed it. Some people might think it's boring. I liked it quite a bit. So at number 11, I have Save Yourselves. This was my favorite narrative from Sundance. It wasn't the strongest year at Sundance for me, but I really thought this was funny. Just the idea of these two people, this couple that decide to go off the grid for a weekend, and that happens to be the weekend of an alien invasion. That was very funny to me. And their sort of hipster lifestyle tested in the survival things. And I thought they had really nice chemistry as a couple. And it was Sunita Mani and John Reynolds, and they were great. And so this is a hidden gem that I think not many people have seen that I really thought was quite funny. At number 10, I have Words on Bathroom Walls. And this movie, it has its flaws. It's a little too tidy at the end, and the romance isn't like super effective to me, but I really, really thought it was moving, the way that they portrayed schizophrenia and the effect on the family. And I just think the whole stigma about mental illness is such BS that drives me crazy. And it was such a positive experience in my life with this movie, because I thought it was moving, especially this letter that Walter Goggins writes at one point in the movie was so moving, and I was crying, and it really touched me. And I asked in my review on my blog if anybody who has schizophrenia would be interested in talking about it, because I didn't know like how they would feel about it. And a young man named Zach, he contacted me. We talked on my podcast, Hallmarkies podcast, and it was so great, so meaningful. And then the director told Thor Frudenthal, he heard the interview and then I talked to him. And so it was just a really like moving experience. And I was able to see Zach grow, and he decided to start a blog. And so it was able to impact him that way. And so it had a lot of personal meaning to me, this movie. And I just think Charlie Plummer is such a tremendous young actor. He is, you'll see him again on this list because I think he is just phenomenal. And so definitely, if you haven't seen Words on Bathroom Walls, I definitely at least think it's worth a watch. Number 9, I have Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made. I know nobody else will have this on their list, but I really loved this movie. I thought it was so sweet. I loved Timmy as a character, and the kind of the trauma that he's gone through that's made him behave the way that he has. And there's a conversation between him and Craig Robinson when they're talking about adaptability and how much should we change for other people, that I think is one of the best moments of all of 2020. I loved it. I loved the script. I thought it had tons of heart and was very funny and sweet. Wallace Shawn, perfect as this teacher. So I loved Timmy Failure. It was a huge surprise for 2020. And so, yeah, it's my list. I can put whatever I want on it. So I have it at number 9. Number 8, I have Spontaneous. This movie is bonkers. It's crazy. It's weird. It's dark. But I thought it was just so creative and I don't know, it was funny while also being tense, being sad. It kind of did everything for me. And it has Charlie Plummer, who I think is incredible, and Catherine Langford, who I think is also really interesting and picking interesting projects. So I'm happy with both of their careers. I think they had really good chemistry in this. And it's a romance, but it's a weird romance about how at any moment one of them might explode and what's going to be happening. And so it was definitely a hidden gem this year that I think more people should see. Very creative, and it's a romance. And so anyway, I have it at number 8. Number 7, I have The Personal History of David Copperfield. I thought this was really creative. Again, a new take on a period piece. I liked the production design. I liked the costumes. I loved the cast. Tilda Swinton is hilarious in this. It was funny in a way not a lot of other period pieces are. Of course, I love Dev Patel. He's great. And I just thought this was such a charming, fun way to tell this story. And so it's at number 7. Number 6, I have Bad Education. It's probably my favorite script of the year. I think it was just about perfect. And it's dealing with these really unlikable characters. So it's a little bit hard, but they don't excuse their behavior at all. You definitely want to keep watching because of the performances and the witty banter of the script, and the girl who played the teenager, Geraldine Viswanathan, sorry, she was really good. I liked her a lot. And she's a talented young actress. She was also in the Broken Hearts Gallery, which I also enjoyed. So she's definitely someone to look out for in the future. At number 5, I have Dick Johnson Is Dead. I saw this at Sundance. It was my favorite thing I saw at Sundance. It's Kirsten Johnson, and she is basically chronicling the last few years of her father's life. He hasn't died yet, to my knowledge at least, but kind of just trying to cope with the idea that her father might die, will die soon, and is starting to experience dementia. And I just love Dick Johnson so much. And it reminded me of my grandpa, who I miss so much. And both my grandmas passed away last year. So there was a lot of personal meaning. She was so great at Sundance, Kirsten. I loved her so much. And I just thought this had huge heart. It was so charming and different and creative and moving. I loved it. Number 4, I have Love and Monsters. This had like everything you could want in a movie as far as I'm concerned. It was funny, had great action, it had romance, it had good dialogue, great leading man, Dylan O'Brien. I thought he was very charismatic, very enjoyable. And Michael Rooker, so funny as one of the people that he meets outside of the caves. I thought the creatures were really well done and fun. And I just thought it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Number 3, I have Emma. Love this version of Emma. She's a hard character to kind of get right sometimes for Jane Austen because she is probably her most unlikable heroine, but it's because she's so young and she's been so sheltered. And so she has the best of intentions in trying to kind of match everybody up and control everybody's lives. But I thought Anya Taylor-Joy did a great job with portraying Emma. And I love Bill Nye as her dad. He was hilarious. I loved Mia Goth as Harriet. She was great. I loved Mr. Knightley, played by Johnny Flynn in this. He was so good. And I loved the music. I just thought it was great. I felt like it was true enough to the book, but also took some creative chances, which is what I like to see in an adaptation. And so it worked for me. I really enjoyed it, as I saw it 3 times in the theater, and then I've seen it multiple times since, and I've just really loved it every time. And number 2 was really hard for me to know what to do with, because it's not really a movie, but is it a movie? It's Hamilton. I love Hamilton. I love the music. I love how different it is with the hip hop stylings. I love how it has this fresh new take on history and American history. And it's funny. It's romantic. It's sweet. It's everything you could want in a show. But also here you had it come to us when Broadway had just been announced to being closed. We get to see Hamilton. So personally, it meant a lot to me, as well as just being so phenomenal. So that's my number 2. My number 1 is Wolfwalkers. This won't surprise anybody. I absolutely loved this movie. I loved the animation. I loved the music. I loved Tom Moore. I've loved all of his films. I think that the story of these 2 girls and their connection and sisterhood is really great. And I think that the dad is a very complex character. He's trying to protect them, but is he over protecting them, taking away their agency? I just loved it. I thought it was enchanting and sweet and everything that you could want in an animated film. My favorite movie of 2020, without question. And so there you go. That is my favorite films of 2020. Some honorable mentions that I didn't mention: I have Enola Holmes, The Vast of Night, Sylvie's Love, World of Tomorrow 3, Soul, Modern Persuasion, H is for Happiness, Over the Moon, News of the World, and Military Wives were all films that I really enjoyed. So let me know what you think. What were some of your favorites? It was an interesting, eclectic year for movies, and I think we were able to find some hidden gems that might have gotten missed if we hadn't been so confined. So there we go. Again, let me know what you think, and please consider becoming a patron. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and also please consider checking out our merch store for cool designs that we've done. So check that out, and thanks again, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.